little bit differently today. Mindfulness in compared with striving, and I don't know what meditation is. Okay. So mindfulness and striving. So sometimes people, when they talk about mindfulness, even as they begin to talk about it, they're striving. They're striving. Like I want to have a mindfulness practice. I want to be more mindful. And by mindful, they mean many different things. Sometimes they mean very simply to be more aware, more conscientious. They would like to be the observer in their world of their own life, instead of a reactor, just a witness to their own thoughts and emotions. But they would like to be that thing. And this is precisely what can't happen. What can't happen. I think let's just say very cleanly, that the more mindful you try to become, the less mindful you will be. The more mindful you try to become, the less mindful you will be. Those two things are in opposition to each other. Trying to be mindful. It's like trying to be more aware. So let's go ahead and let's experiment with that for a second. I'd like you to go ahead and try to be really mindful right now. Let's see if it's true. Go ahead. You try to be mindful. Go ahead and try to be more aware, more conscientious. And as you try, what is that like? What's that trying like? I want to be mindful. I want to try to become more aware. This is the most common thing I hear. And I hear it with people who they say things like, I would like to not have as many thoughts, or I'd like to try to become more aware of my thoughts. I would like to become more aware of my emotions without reacting to them. And this is what cannot happen. It's not possible. So I'd like you to go ahead and try to become aware of your thoughts. Go ahead, and if you can just use your right index finger if you have one. If not, you can use a left hand. But where is the you? Go ahead and show us where the you is that's having the thoughts. Okay, so go ahead and just point. You can point in a very vague, general way. That's some sort of vagary over here, right? I'm over here. Okay, now that's the one, right? That sort of vagary, or it's in your head or in your heart, right? Now go ahead and have that one become aware of thoughts, please. The one that's over here, now aware of thoughts. Now go ahead and, I'll show you something. Go ahead and use your other finger. If you use your right finger already, go ahead and point that one toward where you are again. Okay, that one's over here. We'll say here. Here, 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 here. Okay, or just generally over here. Okay, and now use your other finger to show where your thoughts are that you want to be aware of. So you're over here. Now where are your thoughts? They're over. Go ahead and point to them, please. Of course, if you're Western, you point here. If you're Asian, you point here. So you're over here, and you're trying to be aware of your thoughts over here. So go ahead and do that. If you're Asian, you're here in your heart, and then your thoughts are where you're here. So you are here trying to be aware of that over there. So don't forget that. Go ahead and be mindful, please. Go ahead. Or maybe you're in here, if you're Western, right? And then your thoughts are where? Go ahead. So you're in here, you're in your brain, and then your thoughts are where? So go ahead and go like this. So you look kind of funny, like you have an arrow through your head. That's the one. So you're in here trying to be aware of your thoughts. How's it going? Because I know I'm having fun, and and maybe you think I'm making fun. Either way, I'm okay with that. But how can you be? And I know some of you think, oh, this is sort of fun and games, but don't forget, this is actually what you're trying to do. For those of you who've been around a little bit, you haven't gotten over this. I know you think it's great yogi, you've been doing this for 30 years. Find the one, go ahead and point to the one who's been doing it for so long, or even if you're brand new, like this is your first time, point to the one who's been doing it for so long. Go ahead, use your pinky on this right finger, please. Oh no, don't do that. That's in Asia. That's a bad. Use the no, don't use the middle finger. Use your ring finger to point. Yeah, that one. To point to where the one who's been meditating for so long, the great yogi. Because you're so experienced. You're so experienced that where's the one who is so unbelievably experienced in spirituality, the great spiritual being, namely yourself? Please point to that one. Who's been around, been there, done that. I'm not listening to this guy in a yellow shirt with a red, what is that, a bordello curtain in the background. He doesn't know what he's talking about. I'm a great spiritual practitioner, or you're brand new, right? Or you're brand new. So where's the one who's either brand new or been around a little bit, or the great one, the great yogi? And please turn off your mic. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. All right. So you found that one. Now go ahead and have that one, the really inexperienced one, the middling one, or the great yogi. Nor turn off your mic, please. You're on Facebook. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, for millions of people to know. Right. Okay. So here we are. The new one, the newbie, the middling practitioner, or the great yogi, namely yourself. Now go ahead and have that one watch thoughts, please. Yeah. Be really mindful. Have that one be really mindful. Or if you've lost it, get back to it. Have that one, find the one who has it and they've lost it. I was really mindful for a couple of minutes there, or yesterday I was mindful, but I lost it and I had to get back to it. Okay, so go, if you can find that one, please. Use your, don't forget, it's very helpful if you can locate it in the body. The one who had it and the one who lost it, who was really getting somewhere and now they've taken 3 steps back, and the one who I hear about all the time, who really had it, was all on the verge of enlightenment actually, and now they're back to square one. Find that one, please. Go ahead and just point to it. It's over where? Now that's the one we want to get back to it. Now if they're going to get back to it, where did they go? All right, it's just a little finger pointing. Where did they go? Okay, since you're so clever and you tell me these things all the time, I get all these Facebook messages for the one who had it and then they lost it and now they want to get back to it. So go ahead and point to the one who had it. And where's the one who lost it? And then now you're going to get it back. Where's that one? And then what will they get back? Please point your finger to that one. You might want to use someone else's hand because I think you're running out of hands here, running out of fingers, unless you're Shiva. Okay, so I wonder, is this maybe one of the things that you're supposed to, that we're supposed to be mindful of? The endless treachery of the thing that you can't find. So in Buddhism, we talk a lot about relaxing this charade. And so one of the things we're talking about relaxing here is the charade of, we call yourself or your ego. In Buddhist parlance, we call anatta. Say, please repeat, anatta. Anatta, A-N-A-T-T-A. It translates as not self, but it's such a mysterious term because you really do feel like that's not true. You feel like there really is a someone in there. And when it comes to spirituality or meditation, that's the one who has to show up, for meditation. And we even say, really show up this time. Like your presence counts. But where's the one that could show up? And then get it and then get back to it. Or lose it. And I find that people who say that they've been at this a long time are the most confused of all, because they really have an additional pressure that they put on themselves, that they think that after all this time I should really understand this by now, or I should know this better, or I've been around a little bit. And so all these people that they tell me they are a Mahamudra or Zopa Chumpo, a great yogi, I say, oh, is it? Find that one. If there were to be such a one, where would you find that one? Who is a great practitioner, or it's no different than when the first moment you started in practice. It's like there's been almost, you could say, not much evolution when you still are trying to get it back. The thing that you're trying to get back is the very thing that we're saying isn't there. You might want to write that down. The very thing that you're trying to get back, the very thing that you're trying to become more mindful of or more aware of, that's the thing that we're saying relax. So again, I repeat, the more mindful you try to become, the less mindful you will be. The more aware you try to become, the less aware you'll be. Because there isn't anyone who becomes more aware. The whole process of becoming actually is the issue itself. What would it like to not become? Now, easily, we can relate this, but we miss it every time. We can relate it to right now in these supposedly catastrophic times, that the thing that you worked really hard to become has fallen apart. You worked really hard to become, let's say, a laborer, or someone who's responsible, who finally is, going to work and paying their bills, or whatever. And now that it's all, it's come to an end, the thing that you have become, right? And as though that there was someone there who really became anything. And now we want to get back to that, right? We want to get back to that. And that's the very same thing in meditation. You think you've become something, or you want to become something, a meditator, a yogi, someone who's familiar with their mind. But that's the thing that can't happen. And that thing that you can't find cannot become aware of thoughts. The thing that you can't find cannot become aware of thoughts. It's not possible. That thing that you can't find, you can't become aware of anything. The awareness is that that's not really there. And so that you can relax the becoming, the doing, and the striving, we call the striving. Sometimes in Sanskrit we say tana, this to become more, and then grasping onto that. But the thing that you're grasping on is very ephemeral. Edgar Allan Poe had a beautiful poem called "A Dream Within a Dream," and he, being at a beach with very fine grains of sand in your hand, and you clench it, and then you walk into the ocean, and the waves keep coming. The waves keep coming, and then you try to grasp the sand even harder. And the sand represents all the things that you want to be, the self, and the things that you want to become. I want to get back to my job. I want to become a meditator. And what happens, the waves represent impermanence, change. And sometimes in a little deeper practice we call emptiness. And then you open your hand and what's not there? And every child knows this. And it's kind of fun when you're little, right? To try to get some sand and hold on to it. It's fun when you're little, right? Or maybe some of you even had anxiety when you were little about this, or like you really, as these fine grains of golden sand, they run through your fingers. And you can't hold it. And the one who's trying to hold it is, in fact, one of the grains of sand. It's just another idea. So all the grains of sand are just ideas. And the one who's trying to hold it is just another grain of sand. And so mindfulness is to recognize this, is to relax the grasp, is to relax the grasp, relax the grip, and not try to become, and don't try not to become anything at all. It's not to become anything. And if you try not to become anything at all, that's not it. That's the catch-22 here. So the more mindful you try to become, as a consequence, the less mindful you'll be. The more aware you try to become, the less aware you will be. The more conscientious you try to become, the less conscientious you'll be. Because the very thing that is being made aware of, conscientious of, mindful of, is this, that relax the grasp. Now, when the Buddha taught mindfulness, unlike what you hear in the West, very, very different thing. You know, in mindfulness in the West, you try to become less stressful. The distinction couldn't be more obvious. You try to have less stress. You know, there's a you. Now go ahead and let's have fun with it, because sometimes I think people don't understand the difference between Buddhism and West. You know, really strange appropriation of mindfulness. So where is the you? Go ahead and point to that one. Because I think even supposed yogis, they still try this nonsense, but I think it's worthwhile. Where's the you that would become, where's the stress that you want to relax? Go ahead and point to it. So maybe it's in the belly. Maybe you're bracing yourself in the diaphragm. Maybe you have stress up here. Now, where is the you that wants to let go of that? So the stress is here. Okay, if you can go ahead and let go now that you've located the you that feels stressful, if you can just let go of that. Now what remains is just tension. Not your tension. Try it again. You are here and tension is here. Relax the idea that it's your tension and just let there just simply be tension. Not your tension, just tension. Make sure you understand this is mindfulness. Not your tension, just tension. Not the stories about tension. Oh, what am I going to do about my life and how am I going to pay my rent? And I sure hope that $1,200 stimulus check goes a long way. When I get it one day. Not that one, just not the story around the tension, just the tension, please. Just the tension. And then there's the idea that you, come on, again, you want to get back to normal. Where's the get back to normal? Sort of around here, right? But instead of getting back to normal, let's just call it tension or stress. Okay, and that stress you can feel here. Right, now let go of the you, and there's just tension, no story, just tension, just stress, that's all. Now it may not just be here, but it may also be here in the throat. There may be stress or tension in the throat. Now where would the you be that feels tension or stress? Well, that's up here, remember? Now let go of the you, that's just another idea, you understand? And there's simply what remains is the feeling, the sense of unpleasantness or stress in the throat. And then you can go down a little bit to like the heart center, in the middle of the chest, solar plexus. Sometimes we call the heart chakra, but that's not a big deal. You know, just the heart center. And there may be some stress or some tension there. And that can be observed. That doesn't have to be you observing, that can simply be observation. Simple observation. There can be stress or tension there. And there's simply an awareness of that. And then down also, please, now down to the abdomen, the diaphragm. And perhaps there's some breath holding or some bracing or some tension against the world. Some resistance. And again, you can relax the you that is bracing. And so all that's happening right now is just, we simply refer to as awareness, aware of stress or aware of tension. And we're not striving, write this part down. We're not striving to get rid of it. And so most mindfulness practices, there's a you that's there that is trying to get rid of something. Is trying to get rid of something. I need to let go is the most common way that this is framed. I need to let go. I need to let go. And I get a lot of writing from from other teachers, asking of my thoughts or opinion about something like this. And I discovered about half of all mindfulness practitioners or teachers of this, they talk about acceptance. And the other half are talking about letting go. And it's very confusing, to listen to. I mean, literally half of them emphasize letting go, and half of them emphasize acceptance. Accept yourself, they say. Love yourself, forgive yourself, accept yourself as you are. It's very confusing. Throughout the Buddhist text, throughout the entire canon, you never hear the Buddha say this. But I see memes like this on social media. The Buddha says to accept yourself and to love yourself as you are. It actually, it can't be found, actually. Love yourself as you are. Yeah. Accept yourself as you are. We have all types of talk about forgiving yourself, which is the idea of the self, forgiving that thing that, this thing that holds on to stories and history. Forgive that. Forgive the idea that there's someone holding on. And so all of this passes, for a multi-billion-dollar, in annual sales, self-help stuff. That there's someone there to be mindful, there's someone there to be loving, there's someone there to be kind, there's someone there to be forgiving, and quite simply, and even in the earliest of them, first teaching, second teaching, third teaching that the Buddha ever gave, he's literally saying that there's nobody in the form. There's nobody in the form. There's nobody who has a breath or is in the breath. There's no one who's having sensations. There's no one who's having thoughts or perceptions, mental formations. And there's no one who is conscious or has consciousness, who is conscious or has. This is a very foundational mindfulness understanding. Yet I hear and read even on, I have some advanced meditation and yoga sites that I have and that I lead. And people have been around a long time. They say, they still talk about striving, almost inevitably. And so apparently it's a very rich and deep subject, this striving issue. And what we're here not to do is we're not trying to figure out the striver, the epistemology of the striver or the ontology. Where did the striver come from? It's like asking, where is the beginning of ignorance? And but if there's not a striver, then there's not a beginning of striving. If there's not a striver, then there's not a beginning of striving. And I think when you go to meditate, be careful of this striving business. The very first thing is look for the one who wants to meditate, who wants to be mindful, who wants to be aware. And then that's really the beginning of the practice. You'll never have even a beginning of the practice if you sit there for 20 minutes or 30 minutes trying to become aware. And then of course, inevitably, what you'll discover very rapidly is there'll be all kinds of thoughts arising, and then you'll demean yourself or judge yourself for those thoughts. And you're like, I got to get back to it now. Okay, I caught it. I was saying 1, 2, 3, and then all of a sudden you've said, you counted 3 breaths, and then you're off to Walmart in your mind, right? And then you catch it like 5 minutes later, and you're like, okay, where was I? I was at 3. Okay, so now 4, 5, 6, like this. And then so you try to get back to it. You try to get back to the number that you were at. And then you do the same thing with thoughts and emotions and sensations, like there's someone in there who's doing all of this. And so the whole point about doing and becoming, striving, grasping, clinging, everyone just brings that thing to meditation. I've rarely met a person who doesn't do it. And I rarely talk, and people, mindfulness teachers, talk about this, like, you should accept this. You should accept the way you feel. You should accept that your mind, and then the other side, which is very confusing for people, Eastern and Western, the other half of the mindful teachers are saying, let go, let go. What exactly are they talking about? Let go. What ought you to do? Ought you let go or ought you accept? Which one? And then if you say both, which is fine, do you accept and to let go, what is the correct order? Should you let go first and then accept what you let go of, or should you accept what you have and then let go of that later? So which is the right order? Such conundrums, no? What came first, the chicken or the egg? Should I accept first or let go? Should I let go or accept? Or should you accept that you'll let go? What if this whole thing about self-acceptance is just completely off? Just stay with me for a second. What if it's not self-accepting, but the reverse is true? What if there is an acceptance that there is nothing more than just an idea of a self? What if it's the other way around? It's not self-acceptance, it's acceptance of the idea that there may be someone who's stressed. An idea, nothing more. In Sanskrit we call sankhara, or fabrication. And a fabrication can't get anything. A fabricated you cannot get to self-acceptance. You can't, go ahead and find the one, just to show you. Again, find the one that you think is there, right? It's over here, that's me. Now, how can that, what would that accept? Now, put your hand on your heart, because that's like sort of like the, sort of what goes on in yoga studios, right? I need to accept myself. I'm in here, I need to open my heart and let my heart drop. Oh, and then, of course, the yoga teacher's voice changes very sweetly, right? Let your heart drop, let your heart melt. Feel the open space of your chakra. And that feels so nice. Does it mean anything? Does it mean anything? And if so, who would give it meaning? So perhaps the Buddha didn't teach anything about, I looked through the sutras and I tried to find where he asked to, get into a particular posture and let your heart melt. Let your sunlight in, or whatever that song is. And I couldn't find it. But I hear a lot of people saying this, and I was wondering why the Buddha didn't say it. Maybe he just didn't know. Maybe he didn't take the 300-hour course, Or maybe he never got stuck at home, for a long time or something. Maybe he never had to isolate or something. He just doesn't get it, right? Could be like that. The Buddha was never isolated, so he doesn't understand you in your incredible plight as you live in, frankly speaking, in terms of world history, abject comfort, right? Grateful, of course. Always grateful you are, right? Obviously grateful. Clearly grateful, no? For this opportunity to step back. Clearly grateful for, okay, this is the other thing, gratitude. So where is the one who has gratitude? Go ahead and point to that one. I just want to make a, sort of slice and dice this thing that passes as the self-help industry. With this kind of sales, people ought to be getting better by now. You have to admit, with over $1 billion a year in sales, people ought, and then on top of it, with the psychiatric medication, people ought to be feeling a lot better. With all the self-help books and all the medication, we ought to be having a happy society, a happy world. What's wrong? And I know there's a lot of people watching this who are probably teachers of all of this who don't like what I'm saying because it cuts into their pocketbook, but I'm not really here, for that. And I wish that you wouldn't be either. You don't have to monetize everything that's a hobby of yours. That's not necessary. Just because you like something doesn't mean you have to make money for doing it. Yeah. Maybe this tradition, is worth preserving, because it's not just a tradition, it's a tradition of awareness and recognition that's timeless. And it's not for you to take and twist. Not for you to take and twist, right? So maybe this is a call to not do something, not to make money off of this, to not try to turn this into your next job or something that you can gravitate toward as a teacher or a sage in your own household or neighborhood. Maybe it's just a call to relax. But first, in order to relax, What is it that we're talking about relaxing? And we're talking about relaxing the relationship between the two salient features of mindfulness, that there is what is happening and there is a relationship to what is happening. So please write that down, because these are the two pillars of practice at every level. Sometimes people think this is a beginning instruction, but that's not really true. There is what is happening and there is a relationship to what is happening. And I think that some people believe they've outgrown this instruction. You know, they're too haughty. Too haughty. They've risen above it. You know, I know a lot of people on this screen right now. They've been at this for 15 and 20 years, and they've sort of overcome the two pillars of mindfulness. There is what is happening, and there is a relationship to what is happening. So, for example, what is happening is there's a concept of me. That's what's happening, and there's a relationship to that. There's a concept of me, and there's a relationship to that. So one of the relationships is that that's just a concept. It's just a concept of me, and there can be in a relationship. The question you might be having is, well, whose relationship? But it's a false question. It's not whose relationship. The relationship is simply that there's an awareness that there's a concept called me. It doesn't have to be your relationship. There can simply be an awareness that there is a concept called me. And as you're probably aware, that concept is always stress-free, right? Yeah. That's sarcastic rejoinder, as you know, right? How about simply that there's a concept called me, and that concept, a lot of the time, always wants to become something. You know, wants to become something else, something more. Wants to become something different than it is. And there can be a recognition of that there's a concept called me that always wants more. And instead of awareness judging that concept, there can be sort of a little bit of a giddiness around this, a little uptick of the lips. So can you, just as an example, let's go ahead and imagine that we're going to practice mindfulness and that you want to meditate. You know, or that even right now you might be thinking, I wish he would stop talking and get to the meditation. So, right? I wish he would stop talking and can't we just sit here? Can't we just do Japanese practice? Can't we just do zazen or shikantaza? Can't we just sit here? So that's what we're talking about. That's the grasping for more, for something to be different than it is. So sometimes people will come to classes and they'll say, well, can't we just sit here? That's also the same thing. Wishing things to be different than they are. Whether they're sitting and standing or walking down or lying down or talking or someone walking around without a mask on, right? There is what is happening and there is a relationship to what is happening. And no rejection of either. There is what is happening and there is a relationship to what is happening. Two pillars of mindfulness. And simply to observe that there is, starting with the first foundation we call, the first foundation. Sometimes, I don't, maybe first frame of reference is better. You know, it's called Satipatthana in Sanskrit. And it gets translated as the first foundation of mindfulness. We say Satipatthana, in this case in the first foundation, Kaya Nupasana. Kaya is form. Kaya is form. Kaya Nupasana. This frame of reference of the form. So let's start with what the Buddha intended instead of trying to strive. To observe that there is simply stress or tension. Or stress or tension appears in the form. So let's figure out, just bring your hand and let's just go through this, methodically. Bring your hand down to the diaphragm, all right? Or just below the abdomen, maybe, yeah. We can say, is there stress or tension there? So there were two things that happened there. First, we locate that part of the body in awareness. Listen to how I'm saying this. Locate that part of the body in awareness. Locate that part of the form in awareness. So you have that, and then put your hand on that, just below the abdomen. All right, that's part one. Part two, is there any stress or tension there? Is there any bracing or resistance? A lot of people don't realize, it's like let your belly hang forward and down. Just let it all hang out, so to speak. Many people don't realize they're walking around like bracing themselves against their own life, bracing themselves or resisting against their idea of the world or others or themselves. So see if you can just manage to inhale from the bottom up. Instead of breathing up from here, fill the belly first. Exhale. And all we're doing is just seeing if you can put your hand on that part of the body where it begins. Where does the breath begin, and put your hand there. So when you inhale from below, put your right hand on that part of the body and simply feel. And if there's tension or stress there, recognize that. But listen, don't do anything about it. Don't try to relax it. Don't try to accept it. That's striving. Trying to accept it is striving. Don't try to let it go. That's striving. Don't try to accept it. Don't try to let it go. It's a simple recognition that there's movement there. Okay, so just write that off to the side. So we first started off just below the abdomen. This is called Anoop Asana, or mindfulness of the form. It does not involve you, does not involve a self. It is a simple aware recognition. A simple aware recognition that there is movement, there is a rising, and there is a falling. Just put this off on the side notes, please. There's a rising and there is a falling. And that's, we don't even try to connect the dots like with the inhalation and exhalation. There is rising and there is falling. Or sometimes in the text it's translated, there is breathing in and there is breathing out. But start there. Start just below the navel. And then part two, after you can feel that or bring that into attention, we said bring that aspect of the form into attention. And step two is there any tension or stress there? And just recognize that. No judgment, please. No trying to get rid of it. Don't try to accept it. Don't say to yourself, okay, I have to accept this. I have to accept this. That's not mindfulness. Or if there is stress, okay, let it go. I'm gonna take a big, deep exhalation now and let it go. Let my heart chakra melt or my stomach chakra melt or whatever. Don't say anything, just recognize. Now that is what is meant by acceptance. But don't try to do that. Don't try to accept it. If you try to accept it, that's not it. That's not acceptance. That's striving to accept. And that creates more stress. Don't try to become more mindful of that. That's stressful too. It's just a simple, basic, the most basic awareness possible that there is simply a rising and falling movement just below the abdomen. So this is called the recognition of impermanence or of change. Mitakpa in Tibetan, anicca. Also recognize that there is either stress or is not stress there. And that we call dukkha. Please repeat, dukkha. D-U-K-K-H-A. And one of the things that you'll come to notice is that whatever is changing, wherever there is change, there is already dukkha present. But that'll come in due time. Not because you try to get the philosophy, but because it will become obvious. If you try to get the philosophy that everything that changes is stressful, then that's an intellectual understanding. It won't work. There's no realization, we call it dukkha. There's a mere intellectual understanding of stress. How stress, you can think to yourself, stress is related. True, it is true. You can put your hand on, the abdomen and realize there's only change. And where there is change, there is stress. But you can't, if you think about it, then that's striving to understand it. So that's not it. So perhaps something like this. Perhaps pay closer attention to that feeling in the diaphragm. That there's a beginning of the inhalation, there's a middle of the inhalation, and there's a top of the inhalation. Go ahead and feel that. And then exhale, there's the beginning of the exhalation, there's the middle of the exhalation, and there's the end of the exhalation. Relax at the end of the exhalation. That feels pretty good at the end, right? But it doesn't last. Look, inhale. There it goes. Don't cling to the beginning, don't cling to the middle, don't cling to the end, please. This is what is meant by acceptance and letting go. We're accepting change. We're accepting letting go. Here is that do not try and regulate the breath. This is not like yoga class. Do not try and regulate the breath. This is not pranayama. Simply be aware, not you, simply be aware. No you is necessary here. You understand? Let there be understanding. There is simply rising and falling. Don't try to control, don't try to regulate. And don't try not to regulate or control. That's striving too. Simply leave well enough alone. Let it be. Let be. Now that this is taking place, this process is taking place without you, is notable. So please write this down. This is called anatta, A-N-A-T-T-A. You have nothing to do with this. You understand? This process is taking place, and you have nothing to do with it. So we have three recognitions here. We have the recognition of change, sometimes called impermanence. We have the recognition of dukkha, that at any point, wherever there is change, the next thing happens. It's out of anyone's control. It's out of anyone's control. The next thing just happens. So whether you like something or don't like something, you understand? You like a certain part of the exhalation, a certain part of the inhalation, or during the movement, that's your favorite part, or you don't like it at the top of the inhalation, or you like it more at the end of the exhalation. It doesn't matter, But any of that liking or not liking, you find this pleasant or unpleasant, that's dukkha. Whatever changes is unsatisfactory. And even the parts that you like will be, they change. Now, of course, you're an intelligent being, and you're probably hearing like, I bet this is not just about some breath at the diaphragm. I bet that he's talking about something else. And of course, that's right. This is supposed to be applied. Like, wait a second here. What doesn't change? Think of something that doesn't change. And then some of you brilliant ones, you go to the pre-Socratics, you go to Heraclitus, and you're like, oh, or Parmenides, and oh, the only constant is change. Don't worry about the pre-Socratics right now. I know you're smart, and some of you will go to Emerson or Thoreau, and you'll say, oh, the seasons change. There's summer and fall, autumn, fall, and winter, and then it all comes. We're not, no, no, we're not doing any naturalism here. We're not relating this to literature. We're not relating this to anything. It's just simple recognition. There is change. Now, the more that you sit every day, or there is sitting every day, and there's an awareness of this, then it will simply become obvious without effort. You don't have to apply yourself to walking around noticing the world. It simply becomes, there's nothing else going on except movement. And that as what you're learning here, is that it's not personal. Change is change, and no one can dictate the rate of change. And you can start to feel where the ego comes in and says, I'm resistant to that. Okay, I understand that everything changes, but not right now. Right now I just want to get back to work. Right now I just want to get back to my health. Right. I know I'm going to die one day, but not right now. Right. And so people, they say that they accept change, and that's not right. You don't accept change. Change happens. Whether you accept it or not, you understand, is irrelevant. You're not such a big deal, in other words. That's a kind of a stab, right there in the abdomen, obviously, that you're not a big deal, that you're not the agent that controls or mitigates change. Whether you like it or not, as you have come to see, hopefully the past few weeks, change happens. But a very, very brilliant bumper sticker, change happens. This isn't exactly some sort of eye-opening great piece of wisdom I'm sharing, right? Change happens. You're not in control. Now what happens when there's a concept called you that resists this? So let's go ahead and let's take that. Let's try what happens with. Let's talk about resistance. Let's have a display of resistance now. So go ahead and take that breath in from the abdomen, and then hold it on top, and just keep holding, because you're such a great big deal. You're such a powerful force. That's the idea here. Keep holding. Hold the breath. You're so powerful. You can stop change. When you want to stop breathing, you're gonna just stop breathing. Right, hold it, come on. You got this, you're a great big deal. Come on. Because you can't even stop yourself from exhaling, watch. Come on, keep trying. All of you great swimmers who could get the quarter at the bottom of the pool when you were little. Go ahead, Let's see how long you can do it. Let's see how powerful you are. Oh, you're so powerful. You're so powerful you can't even stop yourself from exhaling. Wow. How about you can stop yourself from the coronavirus, from the world, from a virus spreading itself around the world? How's that going? Apparently, you can't even stop your neighbors from not wearing a mask. Apparently, even you can't stop yourself. You make little mistakes all the time with this, no? Even with your very best of effort. You walk around with PPE, you're in a hazmat suit, and then how do you take the hazmat suit off? You got your little mask on, and you got your gloves, your little glovies, and then you take off the glove and you're like, oh man, and it's like you can't win, You thought you had OCD, but I guess it's just not enough, right? You thought you were really some sort of obsessive compulsive, and it still wasn't enough, You even lysoled your fingers before you put the gloves on, right? Yeah, you're really clever. And some of you are writing, you haven't written any notes all morning, but you write that part down. Oh, life's all the, aha! You know, there's nothing that you can do though. That's the point. So what you want to do is sit still and not be you every day. Sit still and not be you every day, and just bring attention down to the form aspect called the diaphragm. Thing. Breathing in, breathing out. Don't try and regulate or control the breath. And what you'll learn in the process is life lessons. That there's nothing but process here. There's nothing but change. You're not in control. And if you try, and wherever there is change, there's inconsistency or inconstancy. So there's nothing, what you're supposed to learn from that is there's nothing you can count on. You can't like say this is the way it should be or the way it's supposed to be. You know, demanding that reality should be a certain way. Or having anxiety, you know, and fearful of the future. Here you learn that whatever happens, happens. And it's just fine. As long as you're not there as an egoistic concept to say it's not supposed to be like this, or it should be different. And so how to practice this beyond, because if you just try to have the intellectual concept, so that when, you know, what most people try, unfortunately, is that when change happens and that they're a practitioner of all of this, they say, oh, I shouldn't be feeling this way. You know, I should have known better. I've been at this a long time. You know, I thought I was more mindful than this. I thought I was more aware of this. You know, and then they, you know, and then mindfully say, please repeat after me, mindful judgment. Say it again. Let's say, please repeat, mindful judgment. So then they mindfully judge themselves, been more mindful. Now that's an oxymoron, mindful judgment, right? But don't think you haven't tried it. How many of you have tried mindful judgment? Please raise your hand. Yes. And tell me, please share with us the great success that you had through mindfully judging the concept of yourself. Because you did that, you achieved greater heights than you ever imagined in awareness, right? Without having judged yourself, look how far you've come. I mean, you're just literally like you're right here, right now, still wondering why you did it and judging yourself for that, right? Can you make great leaps and strides in mindfulness? You know, one of the great, for those of you who've been around a little bit and seen me in action, you know, one of my great follies is to have people who've been around a long time and they come wandering into our classes, right? And I say, oh, what's your name? And you know, I'm, you know, the lure has already begun, right? The bait and switch. Oh, what's your name? Oh, you know, my name's Buford, right? And I say, oh, Buford, have you ever had any meditation practice before? Oh, yes, you have. Yes, I read Alan Watts back in the 60s. Oh, really? Oh, yeah, I liked Aldous Huxley too. That book, Lord of the Flies, that he wrote. I'm like, I don't think that was Huxley, but anyway, right? And they have all these great tales. Oh, I studied with so-and-so Rinpoche, or whatever you said. Is it Rinpoche? Tolku Rinpoche. I studied this, and I said, oh, you've really been around the block, you know. You know, you must have attained some wisdom. Oh, and I took a course at Harvard. I paid $4,800, and now I have a certificate in mindfulness. You know, I'm fully catastrophizing my living. I mean, living catastrophe. I don't know what it is. Something like that. And I have a mindfulness certificate, and I've been a teacher trainer, you know, and I've really been around, you know, and I took course 1 and course 2, and, you know, I did this retreat and that retreat, and I went to Bali. I went to Bali, and I even went to India, you know, and of course, by virtue of having traveled to a place like Nepal, you know, I mean, it's like osmosis, spiritual osmosis, right? And now you are way more mindful because you went to India. You have the certificate, you took the 300-hour teacher training, and you took it in Bali, right? And you did it with a bunch of women, so it's, what is it, a goddess group? And you're a vegan. Now, put that all together, clearly you were more mindful than when you started, right? A mindful Bali vegan practitioner, certified, and here we are, right here on a Sunday morning, simply saying, put your hand on your belly. Put your hand on your belly. And you're like, but what about absorption? I'm like, that's so nice. Did I tell you I think I saw a deity? I know. Can you put your hand on your belly, please? You know, I've been reading about Nagarjuna. Is it Nagarjuna or Nagarjuna? Put your hand on your belly, please. I've been reading about Sadhguru. That's nice. If you could put your hand on your belly. Yeah. I just finished reading the Bhagavad Gita. Put your hand on your belly. I just took refuge in the Sangha. If you could just put your hand on your belly, please. Shh. Hold on. I know we need to say a mantra first. Om Mani Padme, Om Mani Padme, Om Mani Padme, Om Mani Padme. Hand on your belly, please. I know you're advanced. I know you're amazing. Hand on the belly, please. You're a level 8 manifester and a 23rd level Freemason, level 7 Reiki master. Hand on the belly, please. I also know you're shameful and you're worthless and everything's falling. Hand on the belly, please. It's no different than a level 23 Freemason, that you're so ashamed of yourself. Hand on the belly, please. Feeling, breathing in. I went to Bali. Hand on the belly, please. Certified. Hand on the belly, please. Breathing in. Breathing out. I'm a vegan. Hand on the belly, please. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. I went to Nepal. Breathing in. Breathing out. I met the Dalai Lama. Breathing in. I know Thich Nhat Hanh. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. See all the things we're letting go of? Breathing in, breathing out. Stop treating me like I'm an infant. I'm a great spiritualist. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. At ease. Awareness at ease with this experience, please. At ease with this experience. Now think thoughts of goodwill, thoughts of happiness and true happiness. See yourself in your mind, an image of that self in your mind. Clear and stable, please. And we have to do this because we have so many different images of ourselves. And we want to see that this idea of the self is so malleable and so pliant. So see an image of yourself in your mind. Just smiling and happy. We want to see how pliant you are. That you can change this version, because it is mental, it's a concept. You can change it. Let's go ahead and do that. An image of yourself in your mind that's smiling and happy and at ease. Now direct these words at this mental image. May I be happy. May I be well. May I be safe. May I be peaceful and at ease. May I not be such a big deal.
Yeah.
That's not really part of it, but it's good. Yeah. May I be happy. May I be well. May I be safe. May I be peaceful and at ease. May I be happy. May I be well. May I be safe. May I be peaceful and at ease. Now, what is the I that we're wishing this for? The concept of ourselves, the concept of the self. May that concept be happy. Because so frequently it's unhappy and stressed out, this concept. So let's try again. Let's transmute this concept. It's very simple. It's very flexible. May I be happy. Now get that image of yourself in your mind. And have the image match the words. May I be happy. Say your own name. See the image in your mind of yourself. Say your own name. Michael, may you be happy. And imagine it. Because that's what you are, imagining. You are you imagining you. May you be happy. May you be well. There's a concept called you right now that's wishing another concept of you happiness. May you be happy. May you be well. May you be safe. Michael, may you be peaceful and at ease. And the good thing about this happiness, unlike any other form of happiness in the world, is it doesn't take away from anything or anyone else. There's no other happiness quite like this one. So that when you wish for your own happiness, and you can also wish for the happiness of others, there's no conflict here, none. So each of you just looks inside and you find the resources, and those resources are available to you. You can develop the path of true happiness inside, which is to think of yourself as happy, and not stop thinking of yourself as miserable. Stuck in a room or in a house, and what's going to happen to me? That's a concept. Tell yourself, say your name. Michael, may you find true happiness. Now spread those out to ever-widening circles, please. To those around you, your family. May my family be happy. May my close friends be happy. Visualize it. May they find true happiness. People that you know well and that you like. People that you like even that you may not know them so well. Wish them happiness. I want you to see you're responsible for your world, your joy, your suffering also. People that you're more neutral about, may they be happy. People in Florida, may they be happy. And people that you don't like. Remembering the world would be a much better place if everyone could be happy and find true happiness within. So don't place any limitations on yourself. Don't place any limitations on your own goodwill, please. Which is to place a limitation on your mind. And your mind, its nature doesn't have any limits. May all beings be happy. May all beings be well. May all beings be safe, peaceful, and at ease. And not just people, but every living being. Imagine, this is the potential of your mind. Imagine every living being is happy. North, south, east, west, up and below, out to infinity. May every living being be happy. All the concepts of yourself and all the concepts of others. And the most intelligent thing to do, since you do want to be happy, is to wish that the concept of yourself and the concept of others be happy. Now take all of that joy, all of that, and just be as comfortable as possible once the mind is uplifted and joyful. And that's key here. Once the mind is uplifted and joyful, now go back and feel the breathing in and breathing out. And that's a different experience now. The mind is uplifted. Now return to the diaphragm. And instead of trying to be aware or mindful, replace those words aware and mindful of the breath with sensitive. Breath is long or short is not relevant. But perhaps it is longer than the last breath or shorter, or perhaps the exhalation is longer than the inhalation, and perhaps that can simply be noticed. The utter simplicity of mindfulness practice. Nothing to gussy up, nothing to figure out. Kaya, we call it. Simply breathing in, simply breathing out. Sometimes long, sometimes short. Bring that part of the form into awareness. And notice if there's any tension or tightness there. And with the exhalation, if there is any tension or tightness, perhaps you can exhale and relax. Right there at the navel. You don't have to push or pull away anything. Now move attention up, please, to the solar plexus. Bring that part of the form into awareness, the solar plexus, the heart center. And simply observe it rising and falling. If you can't feel it, put your hand there. That's the first part, bring it into awareness. Second part is to feel the rising and falling. And if there's any tension there. If it's easy, simply exhale and relax the tension. Sometimes it goes away, sometimes it doesn't. It's not really part of the program. Then move attention up a little bit further to the top of the chest, please. Same steps there. Bring the top of the chest into awareness. Feel the movement. And if there's any stress or tension there, relax. If it doesn't relax, that's fine. You can be at ease with unease. If it does relax, great. But no problem either way. Now bring attention up, please, to the base of the throat, and the same 3 steps. The base of the throat, please bring it into attention. Notice if there's any tightness or tension there. Feel that area move. Ever so slightly. And if there's tension there, simply relax the tension with the exhalation, if possible, if it's easy. Accepting and letting go is a natural process. Don't get involved egoistically. Relax, relax into recognition of what is. There is this aspect of the body, and relax with that. There is this movement, relax with that. If there is tension, relax with that. So you don't do anything, you don't strive here. Now bring attention to the middle of the head. Right into the middle of the brain, please. And imagine as you breathe in that all the breath energy comes right in from all directions, not just the nose, but also the eyes, the ears, from the top of the head. It touches right inside the middle, and exhale and relax any tension, dissolve any tension or tightness if it's possible with the exhalation. Repeat that a few times, please. Breathing in right into the middle of the head. Imagining, and then exhaling. Just like your brain was any other muscle. Inhale. Notice if there's any tension or tightness, and then exhale, relax. Relax the muscle, the thinking muscle. Now bring attention to the back of the head, where the spine and the cranium meet. And imagine that all the breath energy comes in right there, please. Goes right down the back of the neck, down the spine, all the way, and then exhale right up the spine, please. And the energy goes down or up over your shoulders and down your arms, your hands, your fingertips. Then inhale, let the breath energy is coming down the spine. And exhale, and it's coming right up the vertebrae, right up the ladder of the spine, and over the shoulders, down the chest, the torso, the buttocks, the legs, knees, the ankles, feet and the toes. Breathing in, breathing out. And now bring attention please. And breathe in like the whole body. Say whole body, breathing in. Say the words with me. Whole body, breathing in. Like it's coming in through every pore of your body, and whole body, breathing out. Whole body, breathing in. Whole body, breathing out. Taking a few long, deep breaths, just feeling the fullness of the body. Exhaling. Just feel the whole body, how it experiences breathing. Whole body, breathing in. Whole body, breathing out. Whole body, breathing in. Whole body, breathing out. Lips are slightly turned up. Now take all of that attention, that energy, and just beneath the nostrils. All the attention, please bring it just beneath the nostrils. In the diameter about the size of a dime. Or a rupee. A peso. Small area, all the attention, please. And just feel the air. Don't try to control it, just feel. The air across the plane of the nostrils and the exhalation. Very subtly. Just feel the inhalation and exhalation. Focus attention, please. Very small area, the diameter of a sesame seed, please. Close the eyes gently. And it seems like awareness is aware of that sesame seed, that little area. And perhaps you can relax and perhaps even merge until there's no distinction between awareness and that little spot, the breathing spot, the Anapana spot. At ease, at ease. Just retain attention. Please. And then that attention and the spot become one. All right. Into normal. Coming out. Feeling the whole breath energy, breathing in, breathing out of the whole body. Up and down the entire spine, the body's breathing in, the whole body's breathing in, the whole body's breathing out. And then just in the head, coming in, breath energy into the head, breathing out. And then the throat, breathing in, breathing out. The solar plexus, breathing in, breathing out. The diaphragm, right back to the beginning. Whole practice in reverse order, a little more quickly. Diaphragm, breathing in, breathing out. And now the concept of yourself, please. See it in your... Say your own name, Michael. Now may you be happy. May you be well. May you be safe. May you be peaceful and at ease. Now think of the concept of another. Think of them. May you be happy. May you be well. May you be safe, peaceful, and at ease. I see both of you in the same picture in your mind. May we be happy. May we be well. May we be safe, peaceful, and at ease. Okay, very good. So dedicate whatever understanding or attention that you have to the welfare of others. May they also be happy. All others, all living beings. Yeah. May they be peaceful. May they be safe and at ease. Okay, so I think this is, again, just a little easy introduction to mindfulness, and hopefully even the greatest of advanced yogis have gotten a great deal from this today. You great Mahamudra, Dzogchen, 500-hour certificate people who've been to India and Nepal, or Alabama even. May you be happy. Okay, so you have any questions or thoughts, observations for our membership, our Zoom audience? Any questions or thoughts? Yeah. No? Anything? Okay. All right then. Well, thank you for allowing me to share with all of you, and thank you for laughing at my jokes. I'm told that I'm quite funny. Of course, I don't think that of myself, in all humbleness and humility, so that would be rude. But I certainly thank you for smiling and enjoying the day with me, and hopefully you have a nice day. And don't go out, okay, today. You know, don't go out, and you know, stay in and relax. And if you do go out, please protect yourself because you care about other people, okay? And we're all in this together. So thank you very much for your time, and we'll see you again if you're in our classes on Tuesday night. Okay? Thank you. Otherwise, I'll see you next week. Bye. Be well. Yeah, you did.